So, welcome to part 2 of this very, very important series. We're laughing at stress, and because we're in the middle, I don't actually want to take too much of Roz's time. But when you think about laughing at stress, yes, it can be the title of a good book or a good workshop and all that, because you almost think, no, those two words shouldn't really go together. When you're stressed, you don't laugh. Or when you're laughing, you're not stressed, at least not at the time of laughter, although often laughter is because of stress or what have you. But you don't generally say that. And the reason is because we often say, no, right now I'm stressed, so I can't feel anything because that has to take precedent. So because I'm stressed, I can't joke, I can't love, I can't be kind, because I'm very stressed right now. I don't have time for that. Ever notice because of how you're feeling, time changes its pace? I'm stressed, I don't have time. I'm not stressed, I've got plenty of time. And so this stress dominates our whole perspective of life. And what I want to talk about, just to introduce Ros tonight, is happiness. Happiness in different cultures plays... In most ancient cultures, you'll find happiness is a very important component. And there are different pathways to happiness. And in the Jewish spiritual pathway, the Jewish spiritual pathway to happiness is a very strange one. You just choose and you become happy, or you don't be happy. You don't work towards happiness. You don't go exploring sources of happiness, because the source of happiness is actually inside. And it is the most disconcerting thing when I say that, because people don't want to acknowledge that, because that means all those times that we weren't happy, we only have ourselves to blame. And we'd much rather say, no, happiness is not within me, I have to go and find happiness. And that justifies months, years, hours, days of grumpiness, unhappiness, etc. And it's everyone else's fault. And we could almost be happy about that. And yet, in our tradition, it actually says happiness is a switch. In fact, happiness is an obligation. There's a Hebrew phrase, and it's in every morning we say this Hebrew phrase. Ivdu es Hashem besimcha. Serve Hashem with joy. So you'd be like, well, I'm not in a good mood. I can't serve Hashem with joy. And there is no caveat. It's not like, provided you're in an okay mood. It's just do it. And that's because happiness is a part of who we are. We are naturally happy. At our soul level, we are happy. And so what this is about is actually about engaging with our deeper self. It'd be like, I don't know how to meditate. I don't pray. I don't really do introspection well, so I'm not going to be able to access it. Well, that's where Ros comes in. If you don't want to follow the path of Kabbalah on Monday nights, you come on Tuesday nights and you follow the path of Ros. We'll have to give Ros a bit more of a fancy name, but for now, we're going with that. And that's because if you're not going to do it this way, you do it that way. Either way, you do happiness. If you meditate, if you focus on positive things, if you focus on what is good in your life and what is good in the world, and you start appreciating, you will find happiness. Of course, if you say, I don't want to, I'm feeling a bit stressed, I just don't feel I can use my brain like that, well, that's what you're going to listen to Ros about. We're going to fabricate laughter, we're going to fabricate happiness, and it's going to become the other way into our inner self. I want to finish my introduction with an interesting story to which I was privy. When I was a student rabbi, there was a guy in our class, and he used to dress in a way that the rabbi in charge of the rabbinical college didn't really approve. He just said, it's not the clothing that's becoming of a student rabbi. So I've got no problem with your fashion sense, but it's just not. The Yiddish word is edel. Edel means refined. I'd prefer if you dressed in a different way when you came to study. And so the student said to him, I'm happy to change, but I just want you to know that it's not who I am. This is who I am. And so the rabbi said, that's who you are right now. But when you change, that will become who you are. And he was a bit uneasy. They were having their conversation right here at a corner of what's called a bimah, a platform like you have in the middle of a shul in a synagogue. And they're standing on the corner. I'm sitting right here. And the guy, the student, he shifts and then he says, yeah, but I'm happier being this version. And the rabbi said, that's now your problem, not mine. Go and change. So a lot of who we are is actually not necessarily because that's who we are on the inside, it's who we are on the outside. Our outside is very much a reflection of our inside, and our inside is very much a reflection of our outside. And so with that, I'd like you to listen to A Path of Truth as presented by Ros Ben-Moshe.
Thanks once again, Menachem. I think this is working. I'm going to put on my specs so I can actually see you. Thank you all for coming out on a cold winter's night to hear a little bit more about laughter. I'm Ros Ben-Moshe, and some of you may know me. I've just had a recent book out called Laughing at Cancer, How to Heal with Love, Laughter and Mindfulness. So, you know, one of the questions I get asked is, well, cancer's not a laughing matter. And 100% that is correct. However, the body cannot heal as well if it's holding on to a lot of stress. So if we can let go of a lot of that stress and open up to healing through positivity, laughter, smiling, conscious gratitude and things that we're going to be discussing tonight, then we're going to be optimising our healing potential. And that's really important, whether it's a health diagnosis or whether it's a significant other life sort of challenge that you may have. So tonight, we have got a pointer, I forgot, all mod cons. We're going to have a little bit of a chat about the philosophy, this new mind-body philosophy called laughter wellness. We're going to have a bit of a look about, some of the effects of laughter on the mind and the body. A bit of a recap on endorphins. We spent a lot of time on that last week, so just a mini recap. We're going to participate in a reframing exercise where we're actually going to try and introduce some sort of laughter or positivity into a painful or traumatic life event. And then I am thinking we're going to actually do a mini laughter session because I could talk about the health benefits of laughter till the cows come home, but I really think it's important to experience. Laughter is not something to be talked about. Laughter is something to actually do. So we'll go easy on you, don't worry. I'll get Marlene to lock the doors in a few moments so you won't be able to change your mind. So let's make a start. So laughter wellness, everybody knows what laughter is, laughter, ha ha ha. But laughter wellness is actually a much broader mind-body philosophy. And the idea is that we use laughter and other sort of positive strategies and healing techniques to promote whole of mind and body wellness. So laughter is an integral part of it, but it's not just about the physical ha 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 laughter. Also, as I say, so there's other strategies to rewire the brain to a constant state of joy, calm and awareness. Now, you're probably thinking, she really is quite off her tree. I mean, seriously, how can you always be in a state of calm, joy and awareness? Well, it's like anything. It's about a discipline. It's about where we choose to sort of direct our thoughts. And we can very, very easily get bogged down in the stress, into everything that isn't going well in our lives. But like Menachem was saying, like a switch, we can actually bring a conscious level of awareness to bringing more joy and positivity into our lives. Laughter is one way of doing that, but we're going to be having a look at some others. So reframing, so that's a really important thing we're going to be discussing. And smiling. Last week we did quite a bit of a focus on a smile meditation, but there are other ways of kindling that inner smile. So those were some of those endorphin boosters that we were discussing last week. You know, things that really make your heart sing, that make you feel good about life, that really make you smile on the inside, which makes you smile on the outside. It's about pausing in these joyful times and absorbing. So not just taking things for granted, not just sort of going for a walk along in the park, you know, with your phone and you know, not really paying attention. It's about bringing a full level of awareness to things that may derive, you know, some sort of joy, whether it be the trees or the blue sky or someone who passes by you and, you know, gives you a smile. These are really life's joys, but we spend so much time just taking them for granted that we don't actually count them in that way. So there's sort of, I tend to call them micro moments of joy, because they're not the huge things like the marriage, the, you know, the graduation, but they're the small moments. And the more that you become aware of these small moments, the more small moments, these micro moments of joy, will actually become aware to you. Right. So, after all, this is a talk about laughter. Now, everybody's heard that saying, laughter is the best medicine. And I think a lot of people say it, but they don't necessarily do it. And they don't really understand why and how it works. And the extraordinary thing is that the more, in my other hat, I sort of wear a reluctant academic hat. I also am an adjunct lecturer in health promotion at La Trobe University. And I've conducted some research into laughter, so various health benefits. So the great thing is, maybe I'll tell you a little bit about the work that I've done. I was very privileged in that I was part of a quite a large study in a dialysis unit in Southern Health. And myself and another trained laughter wellness or yoga facilitator, we, with Deakin University, La Trobe University, and a few other partners, ran a month-long laughter therapy program for dialysis patients. So anybody who's familiar with dialysis will understand it is, I would argue, it's like a life sentence. Once you are on dialysis, it is a lifelong commitment. So people who have this essentially got very, very low quality of life indicators, because 3 times a week for up to 5 hours each session, they have to be hooked up to a dialysis machine where this blood bank does the job of what our kidneys would do. So it means if you want to go away on holiday, your destination's not necessarily going to be Bali, it's going to be somewhere where there's a dialysis unit. So we ran just 30-minute sessions 3 times in the week. And let me tell you, I don't know if anybody here familiar with dialysis wards? They're very challenging, I find. When I first walked in there, I thought, right, this is a bit too hard. I don't know how I'm going to do this. They are scary. They are really dark, if there was and so essentially it's like, the old computers used to be, those huge big computers. So essentially patients are hooked up to these huge big computers, so there's quite a bit of space in between the chairs. So say someone's here and then maybe someone's here. Now the thing about laughter, as you probably know, eye contact is really important, so that was one hurdle. But anyway, it was the most extraordinary thing. We walked in and some of the patients, obviously they had to agree, it was through a university, that we had to get ethics to do this. And there were some patients there who did not speak a word of English. And so they couldn't be part of our study because they couldn't actually agree to, they didn't understand, what they had to do. But it was amazing. They participated as if they were part of the study, and we measured things like lung function, we measured subjective well-being. We couldn't measure blood pressure because it's artificially controlled, and it was extraordinary. After the first week, I went up to one of the patients, and I kid you not, prior to the session, I go up and say, hi, you ready for today, da-da-da. Anyway, he just looked like any ordinary person, I suppose. After the session, it was like there was lights in the back of his eyes. It was something sparked. It was he was so filled with laughter, I suppose. And I suppose one of the byproducts of this project was not even just the laughter, it was actually getting people to breathe. Breathing is really important. And laughter, you know, the more you laugh, the more you actually have that more effective oxygen exchange. So that was a really wonderful byproduct of that study. The other research I've done, which I'm not spending too much time on it, it was in aged care. Also, it was a 6-week project, and we measured blood pressure, heart rate, and other wellbeing indicators. And it was very interesting. After the first session in the first facility, we had the nurses come and help. They, you know, she came up to me a bit concerned. It's like, you know, is the blood pressure supposed to have gone up or gone down? And I said, well, from other research, you know, we're hoping that it goes down. And she said, oh, that's fantastic, because it did. So what we found is that initially, when the laughter started, there actually was a bit of a rise in blood pressure. But once people really got into it, it was just fabulous. The blood pressure really lowered, and it was and again, subjective well-being. Also, we noticed things like, you know, just in terms of social exchanges between residents, even people with dementia who didn't seem to be doing too much, to be honest. I mean, you know, unfortunately, I've had experience firsthand with a mother who's had Alzheimer's. It's really going very much into someone, you know, into yourself. And there's this one lady who was, she was sort of in I suppose, an extended chair. And she really, I sort of didn't understand. Each week she'd be wheeled in, and I sort of didn't really understand, you know, what she was getting from this session. But amazing. Every time we did a vocal laugh, like we would just remove the words, like these are a few of my favourite things. So we'd go ha 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 ha, you know, that sort of thing. She would like snap out of it. You know that Patch Adams movie where people just snap out? She snapped out of it, she sang, and then she was gone again once the song had finished. It was amazing. So this was just first-hand what I saw, but there is other research out there to support my tiny, tiny, tiny bit of research. So obviously, as I say, laughter is a very aerobic exercise. You can't do it without breathing. So you've got increase in oxygen, which is really important for, I mean, all sorts of bodily functions, brain, you know, concentration, strengthens your immunity, reduces stress. I mean, really, you know, laughing, you know, is just one of the best ways to get rid of stress. And as I say, we're going to experience firsthand production of endorphins. It's that's one of those happy hormones, and laughter is one of the best ways of triggering those. And as I said to you last week, endorphins have got 30 times more potency than morphine. So they're really helpful with pain modulation and essentially lifting your mood. So that's where they're helping to modulate pain. The lymphatic system is actually it actually needs to sort of be moved manually. So laughter actually helps really stimulate the lymphatic system, which is really important for functioning. Great for the heart. Again, you know, you've got that nice sort of flow. And there's been the latest research has shown it's actually got a very similar effect on the brain as meditation, because when you laugh, gamma waves are actually released over the whole brain, which is really quite fantastic, I think. So these are just the physiological effects of laughter. And then we've got the social, you know, the broadest social and emotional effects. So building resilience. You know, if you can actually laugh about something, it actually really helps, say, mend some of that pain. It's a really important tool in terms of bouncing back, you know, to be able to laugh at something. You can't do it immediately. You know, it's pain plus time equals humour. I think that's the equation. It helps create a positive mindset. The more you bring a conscious level of awareness to laughing out loud, not inside, the more you're actually, as I say, rewiring your brain to positivity. A laugh, it connects people. As I say, in the dialysis ward, what was amazing is that there was quite a vast distance between the patients, but after even just, a week of our project, the nursing staff was saying it was amazing. Before and after people were finished their sessions, there was a lot more chatter. There was a lot more communication. And importantly, when you can laugh things off and you have a really good laugh, you free the mind, to be more creative and productive. And the other thing that is really important about a good laugh is it promotes playfulness. Now, we all know how important play is for kids. Well, guess what? It's not just kids that play is important. Adults also need to play. And laughter is actually a really safe way of being able to do that. Right. So just a bit of a recap on last week's endorphins, because they're so fun. I thought we'd highlight them again. So they're an endogenous morphine, so our body produces it. It's, say, 30 times more powerful than its synthetic version. Regularly eliciting these endorphins, so even thinking, sensing into things that make you want to smile and laugh, helps enhance energy, vitality, and your physical and emotional health. And the great news is they're not just in the brain, they're flowing in your whole central nervous system. It's part of the neuropeptide family, which is great. It means it's not just our head that's feeling happy, it's our whole body. Now, before we actually move on to the laughter part of this session, I thought it might be something, I don't know whether you've done this before, but so, for example, in my own experience with the bowel cancer, I suppose it was quite a disciplined choice on my behalf to try wherever possible to introduce a different perspective. The strange thing is that, I wrote the journals in real time when I was recovering from bowel cancer. For those who don't know, I had a malignant polyp in the rectum. Cells were outside that polyp, so I chose to have a full bowel resection so I would know whether the cancer had spread. That involved getting a new replacement rectum, a temporary, thankfully, ileostomy, which is a bag that you put on the outside of your skin, and then 4 months later my bowel was thankfully reconnected. So there was quite a bit of pain and trauma in that whole episode, I'll be honest with you, and there were times that I sort of thought, I don't know how I'm going to find anything positive about this situation at all. In fact, you know what, just indulge me, I'm going to read something from my book just to show, and I don't know if I did this at the launch, I really can't remember. But, so forgive me if I'm being repetitive. Oh, the name of my book, Laughing at Cancer, How to Heal with Love, Laughter and Mindfulness, which will be off sale at the end of this talk. So, just as an example, before we actually go into this exercise ourselves, just as a way of sort of bringing positivity and even potentially a little bit of humour into some painful situations, day 7 of the first operation, the bowel resection, was supposed to be discharged. Let me just put it this way. I had a discharge of another kind in the evening, which left me rather panicked. And I had, in my mind's eye, I was already scheduled for emergency surgery the next morning. And so by the time the morning did arrive, a few hours after my panicked realisation of what was going on, the last thing, did I save this? Did I tell this? Okay, fine. The last thing that I wanted to do, they come in with the breakfast tray, and in the days, in the olden days, you used to get a pencil to be able to write down what you would like to eat. These days, it's all computerised. So I'm staring at this food tray and thinking, there's just no. I don't usually suffer from dark moods, but I was in a dark mood. It was just not a good day as far as I was concerned. But I kept looking at this food and thinking, I'm just not going to eat it. But on the tray, it was lined with this placemat and a pencil. And I thought, I have to do something. I have to do something to actually try and change the way that I feel, because I can feel it was quite destructive, like some of my emotions. So I thought, fine, I'll get this pencil, took it out from under the food, and I thought in the top right-hand corner I'll just write down something positive that's come out of this whole episode. So the first thing I wrote down was get into the habit of eating slower and really chewing food. Oh, that was quite good. Okay. And then I thought, okay, what else? So slow down generally. And I thought, I'll keep going. Appreciate how miraculous every functioning part of my body is. Appreciate the body's capacity to heal. Learn healing techniques. Learn, adopt, habituate meditation. Enjoy gazing out from my hospital window to the beautiful Dandenong Ranges in the horizon. Appreciate nature and its positive effect on my well-being. Having this operation in a world-class hospital. Really appreciate being alive. To find the positives even when things seem grim. Know that it's much better to be rid of the old. Feel how much love is out in the world. Really feel the love. Gain understanding of my weaknesses and strengths. Test bravery. Have faith. Trust in my body's innate wisdom and its innate and amazing ability to heal. Truly miraculous. By this stage, honestly, my writing had to start getting tiny because I was running out of space. Time just to be. Time out to reconfigure, reinvent, reprioritise and restructure. Make real life resolutions. Know that my anal passage is still intact. Appreciate all the wonderful things and people in my life. Appreciation for the hospital, amazing hospital staff, cleaners, doctors, nurses, room service attendants. Amazement at the number of smiles from everybody here. Gain new wisdoms. How many positives I've come up with without even having to think too hard. Relaxation even when the environment may not be naturally conducive. Not panic, still working on that. And then the last thing is, wow, how blessed am I? So it was sort of like one of those days where, you know, when they say in the darkest of night skies, that's when you see the stars shining the brightest. That enabled me to see the stars shining so brightly. So that is one example of actually taking a painful situation and actually trying to find the positives. There's other ways of doing it that you can actually take a painful or a traumatic situation and find something funny in it. You know, be able to laugh at it. As I say, it's not something that you can do immediately, but doing this is really important. It will help free your mind of some of the pain and trauma that you've been carrying around, and that's consciously or unconsciously, because we might think that it's all fine, but at an unconscious level, who knows? And you actually help the way that your mind remembers this event. So it's really worth investing in trying to change something that, you know, is filled with pain or is filled with trauma. Infuse it with some sort of positive joy, laughter in whatever way you can. David, can I please enlist your assistance? We're just going to be distributing the clipboards. Just going to get you, I don't want you to do necessarily anything too painful. Maybe a mini painful, because maybe too much pain's not too, you know, we've only got a few moments. But just find something that you think you can actually write down in a way that's infused with positivity, laughter, more light-hearted. Does that sound okay? Before you start this exercise, I was actually just asked. I was asked in the break about how a very important clarification is how doing that actually affected my mood. And I was just saying the night nurse was the same nurse that came in the morning, because, they have crazy shifts. And honestly, I think she thought she had come into a different room because I was a different person. It just lifted just so much of what I was carrying. And I knew just going through that process that everything was going to be okay. It was all going to be okay. So, yeah, for me, it was a very powerful experience. Exercise. So, yeah, just as I say, spend a few moments, call something to, your mind's eye that, maybe a little bit painful or traumatic, and see if you can just think about writing it in a different... I don't care. People do what they want to do. No one is forced to do anything. So, yeah, as I say, just if there's some way that you can look at some positives in a more light-hearted way, you're actually going to be helping your mind remember that event with less trauma. It might not get rid of it all, but it will help lessen it. And that's important. So the more that you can do this sort of thing, it means that you're carrying around generally less trauma, which is obviously a good thing. So I'll just give you a few moments.
Excuse me, it's not,
Yes.
not the right now, so it can be things that happened in the past.
Yes, something. No, that's okay. Yeah, something that's happened. Yeah, in the past. It could be as a child, or, as I say, just a challenge. It doesn't even have to be something particularly painful. It can just be a challenge. That you have faced. It doesn't have to be something that's going to. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if anybody would be game enough to share, and I don't expect it at all, but if there is somebody who would like to share how doing this has helped shift or, bring something, then great. But, okay, wonderful. Can I get you to...
Yep.
There you go.
Right, my name's Manny. A few years ago, I was put to the challenge where I would be dressed up as a clown and go to Sunshine General Hospital and try to cheer some of the people up there.
Yes.
That was really out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
But I did it. I got so much enjoyment from it. And the people, the patients were just over the moon. They're just so happy to see, these guy dressed up as a clown and the other people going into the other rooms there, and that was in the emergency ward. You see them coming in and they're very, very unhappy and that, and
Yes.
and to put a smile on a person's face is just wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing.
I'll share something else that I saw. It's not about something that's happened to me, but just about having a personal motto for yourself that gets you through things. And there's a website that about personal mottos. So mine has been love and faith will find the way and everything will unfold as it's meant to. So it's got me through different times of stress.
Yeah. Thank you. Love and faith will get you through.
We'll find a way and everything will unfold as it's meant to.
We'll find a way and everything will unfold.
Yeah, we'll find
And
and what's your personal motto for yourself that gets you through? Like I think we probably all have that.
yeah, yes, thank you. Anyone else have? Yeah, can we just get some sound, please? Thanks, sound man.
I've got a photo of Manny as a clown, okay?
Oh, okay.
I was going to be here because I'm also a clown. So I'd just like to share it with you. There's Manny there, right? There's Manny there.
Oh, that is so cool.
And there's me, and
oh,
there's someone.
Look at this. I'm in the
So-
presence of clowns.
Isn't that quite amazing? I mean, I happened to bring this to show you, but
Yes,
then Manny
that's right, you
turned up,
said
so
you
I'm
were
kind of
gonna.
a bit unusual about all this.
Isn't
But
it?
anyway, I'm happy for you to have a look if you like, because it's really quite
Fantastic.
an interesting photo. Yeah. There you go. There's Manny. I have a look at one.
That's fabulous. I'll have to have a look.
I'll just
Wonderful.
show Manny.
Yeah,
He
of
hasn't
course.
seen it.
Looks like we have another brave person willing to share. Thank you.
I thought it was interesting that my grandchildren lately laugh at everything I say, whether I say it to them or generally. At first I used to get very upset that they were ignoring the importance of what I had to say. Later, however, I learned to join in with them, laughing all the way. And I still wonder whether this is the right objective and whether I allow them to ridicule me. However, it feels good to be laughing together while it lasts. I have consciously chosen to spend the time laughing with them. And I feel encouraged to give them more ammunition for laughter. And I have reinvented myself, I think.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. And you've raised something that's so important in that there is such a big difference between laughing with someone and laughing at someone. And I think possibly your initial response to your grandchildren was, they're laughing at me. But I could hear from what you wrote that they're laughing with you. And that's priceless. And isn't that wonderful? And it's a feeling, you know, that feeling your grandchildren are going to cherish and you're going to cherish. That's they're writing books. Oh, that's beautiful. Really beautiful. Okay, anyone else? Otherwise, we're going to move on to the laughter part of this session. Okay. So, are people game for a laugh? Excellent. What we are actually going to do is, Laurie, you know what's up. Next. Are people more or less mobile? Are people okay to be standing and moving? Fantastic. So what I'm going to please request is, if we can all just move our chairs sort of to the side, and we're going to form a circle in the middle of the room, and we're going to do a 15 or thereabouts minute laughter session, okay? I just explain a little bit. We've talked a lot about laughter. Now, as I say, talking about laughter's a very intellectual, there's no point. We want to get, okay, I'm going to just, with a question, because I think I've probably, well, people who've been to a laughter session of mine will have been asked this before. On average, how many times a day do you think you would laugh? If we have a show of hands, maybe 1 in 10 times a day. Yep, 10, 20 times a day, 20, 30, okay, 40, 50. Okay, how many times a day on average do you think children laugh? A lot, okay. So there has been research done about this, and it's not necessarily 100% accurate, but they say that adults laugh between 10 and 12 times a day, and children can laugh up to 100 times a day. Now, whether that statistic is 100% accurate is not really that important. What it does show is there is a big disparity between the amount of laughter generated by children and laughter generated by adults. Anyone want to hazard a guess as to why that is? No mortgages. Yep. No. What else? Less hang-ups. Less inhibition in the moment. Yep. Less responsibility. Absolutely. All very, very valid reasons. But I've been doing, a lot of research about this, and it really comes down to something so basic. Children laugh from their heart. They laugh from their heart. They don't think about it. They just do it. Whereas as we become conditioned as adults, we start to bring a critical layer of thought to our laughter. We think, is it appropriate to laugh now? What are people going to think of me? I'm in a serious job, unless you're a clown doctor or a laughter therapist. You just sort of go around laughing. People aren't going to take you seriously. And we live in a very serious world. We do. So what happens is over time, what was a very innate ability of ours, we were laughing before we were saying mama, dada, ends up tapering off, and often people laugh on the inside. LOTI, we don't like that. We want LOL, laughing out loud, for all of the reasons that we were discussing before. Now, when people are going through life, health, adversity, the last thing you're going to feel like doing is laughing, as we know. However, it's one of the best things that you can do. So what we're about to do in the next 15 minutes is simulated laughter exercises that do not rely on humour. Do not rely on something being funny, because we actually just want to get some laughter generated for the health's sake of laughter. Now, it's a very simple formula, and if you haven't done this before, I am sure in your head you're already thinking, this is really weird, I wish I had left 15 minutes ago. However, I just want to tell you, we think we're so smart, but guess what? Our minds aren't as smart as we think it is, or whatever, because our mind cannot actually differentiate between real laughter and fake laughter if you have the right intention, if you're choosing to laugh in that right intention. And your body that is actually doing the laughing can't think. Your body can only feel, and it's feeling laughter. Now, we have got one thing that works to our advantage, in that laughter is very contagious. Okay, so it's very difficult to resist laughing if you make eye contact with someone, and even though we're starting off with a simulated laughter exercise, it'll become real in no time at all, and we're all doing it together. It's, there's no judgment going on here. So before we actually start, I just make a mental note of how you're feeling at the moment. If you're feeling, stressed, anxious, tired, cold, hot, happy, sad, you can even give yourself a number, between 1 and 10, where 1 is absolutely really crappiest and 10 is just exhilaration, and we'll just, again, in less than 15 minutes, I will ask you whether you notice any difference in your own self. So there are 3 components to these simulated laughter exercises. One is the actual laughs that I'm going to demonstrate, and then we're going to do with one another. There's clapping, ho, ho, ha, 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 okay? And there's breathing. Now, talking about breathing, as I say, it's a really, really important thing to do. Just quickly, I just want to check how well you breathe. Hand on your chest, hand on your belly. Take a nice deep breath in and then out. And I'd like you to note which hand moves more, the hand on your chest or the hand on your belly, okay? In, out, and once more in, and then out. Okay, whose hand on their chest moved more? Okay, and most of your bellies moved more? Okay, that's fantastic. So generally speaking, when we're sitting around a lot, sedentary lifestyle, or even really stressed, we tend to breathe more shallowly from the chest. And the idea about today is really to get some deeper abdominal breathing. The reason for this, and one of the reasons why laughter is such an effective stress buster and can change your mood, is we've got 2 nervous systems. We've got the sympathetic nervous system, that's the one in overdrive, that's the one where the tiger comes along and you're already running, that's the one that's in action. Then we've got a less dominant nervous system, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. I think Menachem was talking about this last week. Regular breathing, repetitive breathing, so in and then out, in and then out, so for 10 minutes, elicits what's called the relaxation response. And that basically signals your parasympathetic nervous system into, that's the feelings of calm, okay? I remember it very simply: parasympathetic peace, sympathetic stress, okay? So the more we laugh, the more that breathing is happening, so it's great in terms of relaxation. So I'm going to ditch this microphone, because otherwise I can't clap. So just before we start, I just want to make sure that your laughter mechanisms are all working, okay? So if you just gently put your hand around your throat, and we're just going to do a gentle throat laugh, not a Bart Simpson, Homer Simpson, yeah, thanks for that. And I'd like you just to feel the vibration in your throat as you It's working? Excellent. Okay, let's deepen that laugh just a little bit with a ha into the chest, okay? Brilliant, brilliant. Now, because of this place of worship, I can't exactly say, if the ho-ho, what that might symbolise, but I think we can get the drift. Let's do a ho-ho-ho-ho-ho-ho-ho-ho. Can you feel it in your belly? Fantastic. Well, I think that it's all working. So now, just with the breathing, we're just going to practice. Now, if you've got any shoulder issues, please don't worry about raising your arms, but we're going to raise our arms up to breathe in and then push out that stale air. Once more in and then out. This time in, and we're going to laugh it out. Brilliant. In and out. Fantastic. Before we start, actually, with the form, we're going to do some strict laughter exercises just to warm up. We're going to do 10 seconds of laughter and then 10 seconds of breathing. 20 seconds of laughter, 20 seconds of breathing, 10 seconds of laughter, 10 seconds of breathing, just to warm us up, okay? So, again, it doesn't matter that we're sort of doing this as a stimulus. It's all good. So literally 10 seconds. It's nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. Let us. Sorry, I'm trying to. Can I even do seconds? I think I'll just count. Okay. Actually, no. Here we go. Okay. So let's laugh for 10 seconds and then I'll just sort of clap my hands and then we're going to do breathing, okay? Okay, 10 seconds, it's nothing. Let's go. Okay, now breathing. Okay, now we're going to laugh for 20 seconds. Let's go. Fantastic. Okay, I'm breathing for 20. Okay, and one last lot, 10 seconds laughter, 10 seconds breathing, okay? Let's go. And breathing. Okay, fantastic. So you're all warmed up now, which is fantastic. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to greet one another in the circle with an Eastern greeting laugh. We're going to look into people's eyes and we're going to walk around until, I've forgotten one part actually, until you hear me going ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. So if we can just practice ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ho, ha. Fantastic. So we do the laugh with one another until you hear me going ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. You go back to somewhere in this semicircle. We do some breathing. If there are people seated, please make an effort to greet them and make them feel welcome as well. So it goes like this. Go up to someone and it's a just a nice gentle laugh. So let's go around and greet one another just with a nice Eastern greeting laugh. Let's go. between laughs. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha. Ho, ho. And some nice deep breaths in. And then out. And in. And out. Once more in. And then out. Okay, seeing as we seem to be standing as we are, we're actually going to do a laughter cocktail. We're just going to rev things up, get straight to the really, strong stuff. And this is how it goes. We mix it as strong as you like. It's pure laughter. It's ha 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 ha, and then down the hatch. Okay, you ready? We're going to mix from our right to our left. Let's go. Laughter cocktails, all up. Fantastic. Left to right. Remember, we're trying to balance our brain out, okay? Brilliant. Now this time, rather than drinking it ourselves, we're actually going to turn around and just share that laughter. We're going to sprinkle a laughter cocktail around. Okay, you ready? Fantastic, and once more. Brilliant. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, 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 ho. And a nice deep breath in, and out, and in, out. Once more in, and out. Okay, I'm actually going to ask you, please, just to go back into more of a semicircle, because we're going to, we've been talking a lot about stress, and this is actually a great way to get rid of it. This is called throw all your worries in the air laugh. So you think about something that's causing you bother, pain, anxiety, whatever it is, you consciously bring it to your mind's eye. We then walk into the center of the circle. We clap 1, 2, 3, walk into the circle with that thing in your mind, and then we release it with a big ha 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 ha. Literally, we're getting rid of it. We're going to do it a few times. You can either have the same thing or something different. My record's about 7 times with a group of lawyers, but we'll see. Yeah, it's true. Honestly, I could feel we just kept on going and going and going. So think of something that's, this is throwing that particular stress or worry just right out. We're done with it, okay? Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Into the center of the circle and get rid of it. Love it. Okay, we'll do it another time. I think we'll do it once more. Yeah, please. Okay, very good. Okay. Should we do it once more? Okay, fantastic. And then, I don't know who's here. I don't know. Brilliant. It's gone. It's done with. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha. Ho, 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 ho. And a nice deep breath in and out, in, out, and once more in and out. I think we might do some laughter laps. I'm not too much of a fan of swimming in the cold weather, but laughter laps you can make an exception for. So any stroke, not backstroke because it's a bit dangerous, we're literally going to be swimming around the room, maintaining eye contact and generating as much laughter as we can. You can do doggy paddle, you can do, freestyle, breaststroke, and we're just going to swim, laughter swim. Let's go. Splash you. Careful. Okay, and a deep breath in and out, in, out, and once more in and then out. Okay, we've got time for a couple more laughs before the evening ends. And I think the idea, as I say, there are lots of reasons why we use laughter, resilience, playfulness. We'll do a bit of a fun one here. We're actually going to go for a laughter motorbike ride, which requires going on any type of bike that you like. It can be a Harley Davidson. I saw that helmet. You got an advantage. So basically, this is a laughter-powered vehicle. I'm sure you're not surprised about that. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going around the room on our laughter motorbike, and I'll just demonstrate. We have to rev it. Yeah, he's really raring to go. Okay, so we rev this bike started, so it's a ha. You get the idea, and then we're going to go. But before, I do, work in health promotion. Helmets, please. Excellent. Okay, you ready, everybody? On your bikes. Okay. Let's go.
You're assuming I was able to get my bike started.
And a nice deep breath in, and then out, and once more in, and then out. Okay, just because of time, we're going to fit in one more laugh, but hopefully I'll come back and I'll do a straight laughter session with you another time. We're going to end with a mobile phone laugh. The idea is we try and bring some this is something you can actually do yourself, as long as your phone is switched off. You can actually pretend to have, if you need a lift in your mood, you actually do this laugh, whether it's, not while you're driving, but, it's actually great. So what we do is we get out our imaginary mobile phones and we have an hilarious conversation, and as we're walking past people, we're trying to get them to actually notice, how funny. And it's basically we're just laughing a lot. So get out your phones. Excellent. And let's have just a laugh with your best friend or something. deep breath in and then out. Once more in, out, and a final one in and out. Okay, our time is up. There are books in the back, there's a mailing list. I hope to come back and be able to do some more laughter. That was a really short laughter session, but I knew that there were other things we wanted to get through. But I did ask you 20 minutes ago to make a mental note of how you were feeling, and I'm curious to note, is anybody feeling any different? Okay, and in what way? Lighter. Yeah, happy. So many people, usually like when I have, do groups, everybody waits their turn, but here, no, everyone has to tell me at once. So we've had lighter, we've had happier, we've had carefree, happy, exhilarated, energized, more alive. Fantastic. Positive. Okay, fantastic. So just thank you so much. I think the point of today was really there are several ways in which we can generate laughter. This is obviously a formulated way, but you can choose, to an extent who you spend your time with, what you watch on TV, where, what shows you see. There is a lot that we can actually do to bring more laughter into our lives. And, hopefully from tonight you've sort of got a bit of a sense of that. I really, really appreciate that you've all come tonight, and I really hope to have an opportunity to laugh with you again. I wish you all lots of love and laughter. And, thank you. And good health, of course. Thank you.
And just before you all do get your own copy of the book, not as a gift, but whatever, I want to give Ros a small gift on behalf of all of us for giving us her evenings to be here, and of course to choose Spiritgrow as the venue that she chose to launch her book. We're very appreciative of it. Brought many new people through to Spiritgrow and taught so much. So Ros, thank you very much.
Very, very lovely. I love being here, and to be able to have Spiritgrow as a place where so many wonderful programs are run, whether it's laughter, mindfulness, Kabbalah. I mean, it's such a gift. We're very blessed to have this centre. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much.